Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the CMA Show. I'm so happy to be here with you today. And as before, we're going to go over a lot of questions today. So I hope you're ready and you have brought your questions with you because we'll be spending an hour together today and going over everything related to the CMA designation, to the CMA exam, all right? So before we get started, I'm gonna check a couple things real quick and make sure that we are all good to go. And it looks like we are, so I think we can go ahead and get started. If you are new to this live broadcast, to the CMA show, please drop a comment and say new. That way I know who is here for the first time, all right? And the format of the show is I'm going to cover a specific question today, which is who can take the CMA exam? Okay, so I'm going to answer that question today, and then I'll open the floor in a way and answer all you guys' questions that you have. All right, this is very exciting. I hope everyone's good to go. If you don't know me yet, I'm Nathan. I'm the founder of CMACoach.com and CMA Exam Academy.com. I've been helping candidates pass the CMA exam for over 7 years. Over 35,000 candidates came through my doors asking for help and guidance, and I've been able to do that. And today, I'm going to give you solid advice and guidance to help you through this journey. It's a long journey to earn your CMA, but with the right strategies, with the right roadmap, you will get there in no time. All right, I'm seeing a lot of comments already coming through. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you get to spend an hour with me. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll make this worth your while and answer all your questions. If you are listening on the podcast, this is a recording, so I invite you to join us every Friday on YouTube at 12 p.m. Pacific, where I go live and answer all questions that get sent in the comments. All right, I hope everybody's ready. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee real quick. I'm having black coffee with a little bit of MCT oil. That's what gets me going, so. All right, what's up? What's up, Nick? Welcome to the call. This is awesome. Rija, welcome. Saeed, welcome to the call. This is awesome, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Great questions. All right, so before we get started with answering all you guys' questions, I would like to address the main question of today, which is who can take the CMA exam? And this is a question that naturally people wonder when they start to think about obtaining an advanced certification in accounting or finance. They think about different designations out there, and there are so many. And once they decide on the CMA, the next natural question is, do I qualify? Can I take the exam? So today we're going to address that question, and then we'll dive into other questions. So let's go ahead and get started. I got my little notes over here. So if you are in college, you're in your third or fourth year in college, I think that that's a really good time to start considering taking your CMA exam. And that's because you'll be able to graduate with a degree, obviously, and you will have already passed one or two of the exams and be on your way to getting certified, getting officially certified. So that puts you ahead of the game than most people. Most college students, their focus is to graduate, to earn their bachelor's, which obviously that's the goal, right? But if you want to get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and potentially land better paying jobs from the get-go, then a really good start is to think about the CMA, pass your exam. Obviously, you will not be officially certified yet, because in order to be officially certified, you have to fulfill other requirements like work experience, so on and so forth. And because you're a freshly minted bachelor professional, you will have to earn that work experience. But what's awesome is that you have up to 7 years after passing the CMA exam to earn that work experience. So if you were to pass your CMA exam, both of them by the time you graduate, so let's say you took part one on your third year of college, and then in your senior year, you took the second exam and you passed both, that means that after you graduate, you have 5 more years to earn that work experience. And 5 years is a very long time, right? So having the CMA, proving that you've passed, that means that you have the knowledge and the skill set to start a career in accounting and move up really fast. So when you apply for jobs, obviously you can't say you're officially certified, but you can say that you have passed the CMA exam and explain what the CMA is, and to showcase your new skills and knowledge in addition to everything you've learned to earn your bachelor's degree. So you have up to 5 years, as in my example, to earn your work experience and then get officially certified. And I do believe that those college students who pass the CMA exam by the end of college, they will have a leg up against the competition and their peers, because if all things considered, if everybody has a bachelor's degree, say in accounting, employers are going to look for those candidates that stand out. And a great way to stand out is by passing the CMA exam, because there's proof. That's proof that you already know advanced management accounting techniques and strategies to help that company thrive. Okay, so that will be the first group of people that I would say they're perfect to dive into the CMA even before they have earned their work experience. You will get there, but the CMA will make it faster for you. Okay, whoa, so many questions. This is fantastic. But before I dive into that, the next group of people that qualify for the CMA exam are those who already work in accounting and finance. Even if you have worked in the field for, like, let's say 1 year, perhaps you've worked 10 years, 15 years, it doesn't matter the length. If you are in the industry already and you want to move up the ladder in the industry, then the CMA will help you. Not only will it help you in your day-to-day job, because all the knowledge you'll gain is so applicable to the day-to-day in the accounting world, but two, again, you'll also be able to stand out from your competition, from those who also want to move up the ladder and get those management accounting positions. So by you passing the CMA exam, you will position yourself and stand out from the rest. So like I said, even if you have worked for just a year in accounting or 10, 15 years, it doesn't matter. If you want to move up the ladder, the CMA is a great way to do that. Okay, and the CMA takes only about 8 months to study and pass the 2-part exam, part 1 and part 2. So it's only 8 months. So if you consider in the grand scheme of things, if you plan to stay in the workforce for 5 years, another 10 years, 20 years, then 8 months is not really that much time, right? So you invest in yourself, study hard, pass exam, and then you have the rest of your career to enjoy the benefits of having the CMA designation. Let's see, and the last group is for seasoned accountants, of seasoned professionals. By that I mean people who have been working for 20, 30 years. They are probably around 50 or above. I do get a lot of emails from them asking me, hey, Nathan, I'm over 50. Is it worth it for me to even get the CMA? I mean, should I even go for it? If you plan to stay in the workforce for another, even just 5 years, but if you plan to stay in the workforce for another 10, 15 years, it is absolutely worth it, because A, CMAs on average earn more than non-certified peers. So your earning power will increase for the last 10, 15 years that you remain in the workforce. So that could be a great addition to your savings, to your investments and whatnot. So it can make a big difference. Also, I think that you will also stand out because all the knowledge and skills you'll gain from the CMA will definitely help you in your day-to-day job, even if you are a seasoned management accountant. If you are a controller, even a CFO or a VP of finance today, earning your CMA, it will sharpen those skills and help you perform in your job, in your day-to-day job. So if you are, 65, 70, if it's more for a professional development or a personal development type of thing, then sure. But I don't think it will make a huge difference in your career, because I'm assuming you'll be close to retiring at that point. But if you're like above 50, between 50 and 60, 21, 22, all that range, I think the CMA is perfect if you plan to work in a career in management accounting, in financial analysis, financial planning, and that kind of thing. Okay, so I think those were the three groups that I wanted to cover today as far as who can take the CMA exam. It's really if your goal is to work in management accounting, the CMA is the way to go. Now, if you want to work in auditing, taxation, compliance, then probably the CPA license is the best way to go for you because the CMA does not cover those topics. The CMA is not geared for that. So if you prefer to do that, auditing, taxation, compliance, and that kind of thing, I think the CPA is the better route. But otherwise, if you want to work in management accounting, in private industry, then the CMA is the gold standard. Okay, all right. So now that I have answered that question, let me go back and look at all the questions that are coming in. Ooh, we got so many. Let me take a sip of my coffee real quick and then we'll dive right in. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Shalene, thank you for tuning into today's episode. Mano, thank you for tuning in. There are so many of you. This is great. We got people on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Primarily, the show is hosted on YouTube. So next week, please, if you want to be notified, all you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell so you're notified when I go live, and bring your questions. I'm here to provide guidance, just like I do via email with thousands of CMA candidates around the world every year. But during this live show, I want to show up, answer questions. Excuse me. I know there's a lot of confusion around the CMA journey because it's a long journey, right? 8 months that you have to study for both exams. And obviously, sometimes life gets in the way, work gets in the way. So 8 months end up being 10 months, a year sometimes. But as long as you have a clear roadmap from step 1 to step 10 on how to get there, then even if you go at a slow pace, but at least you're going in the right direction. So having a roadmap is super important to earn your CMA and get it done. But if you've been here before, or if you have read my emails, you know that my philosophy is, or at least my perspective on the CMA is a little different than the rest. I see the CMA as not the end goal. The CMA is just a stepping stone. It's a big stepping stone, but it's a stepping stone into a brighter future. It's a stepping stone into a more fulfilling career. It's a stepping stone into standing out from the crowd. It's a stepping stone into earning more and making yourself proud, making your family proud, and that's what it is. Okay, so earning the CMA designation is the first goal to achieve, and it's a big goal. But once you're done with that, then that becomes the proof, the external proof that you know management accounting. And that's just the beginning of your journey, right? Okay. Oh, so many questions. Hello, everybody. Hey, Dabu. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's go to the top. We've been in the call 15 minutes, so we'll be here for another 45. Maybe not all the way, but we'll go for as long as we need to, up to the hour, and answer as many questions as I can. Good afternoon. Hello. Oh, saying, how are you doing here? Let me add this to the screen. It says, how are you doing? I wanted to inform you that I received my badge and certification number. Feels so awesome. Thanks to you. Hey, Saeed, I'm just happy that I was able to be a part of your CMA journey. All the credit goes to you, my friend. You were the one who studied very hard. You were the one who asked all those questions via email to me. You were the one who took all those practice exams. I'm just happy that I was able to kind of hold your hand through the journey and guide you. And I'm super proud of you because I know how hard you've studied. And now that you've gotten your badge, you got your certificate number, I couldn't be more proud of you, Saeed. Congratulations. I'm so stoked for you because I know how hard this can be. I mean, you got to study if you self-study, you're looking at about 20 hours a week. That's like a part-time job, right? And you got to do it for 8 months. So it's a sacrifice. So it takes a lot of effort. It takes dedication and commitment. So all my students who study and show commitment and dedication, pass exam, and man, it just makes me so proud. So Saeed, congratulations again. You deserve it. You've earned it. Congrats. What's up, Nick? Welcome to a coaching call. Nick is a new student of mine. He's killing it. Hey, he's sending me his assignments, his practice exams. Nick, I'm seeing your scores. They keep going up. Started at 70%, went up to, I think, 76 or 77%. Now you hit 86%. So I'm super happy for you, Nick. Your hard work is paying off. So keep up the good work. Keep up that dedication. And you, my friend, will pass the exam on your first try also. Rija is new. Rija Annie. I'll call you Annie. Hi, Annie. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments about anything CMA related or career or anything you want to talk about. I am here for an hour. Let's see what other questions we have. Nick is asking, would it be okay to take cumulative exams so I don't forget progress made in completed lessons? Nick, that's a great question. I think because the way we have structured the academy, we've broken it out by sections. So I would suggest that you focus on the section that you need to study, and when you finish that we have extra credit assignments. So be on the lookout for those, and those extra credit assignments will help you practice material that you've learned in previous sections, okay? So just keep an eye out for those, and then in those moments is when I would focus on going back. But until then, just focus on the material at hand. Whatever you have to study for that week, just focus on that, because we want to make sure that you're proceeding and moving forward every single week and not getting bogged down by going backwards and reviewing past material. There will be instances, like I said, you will have extra credit assignments, and those are the ones designed to help you go back and review topics that you've covered in previous weeks. Okay, but until then, don't worry about it. Just proceed and follow the assignments as they are laid out, and you're going to do great. Here we have a question. New, welcome. I am a compliance officer. Is a CMA for me? This is a great question. So thank you for asking that question, and I think this is very it's a great example. People often ask me, Nathan, I'm doing this. Is the CMA for me? What I would, and I like to turn that question around, is what you're doing now, is that what you want to do for long term? Is that your ultimate goal? Or are you trying to move into a different field within accounting or finance? Are you trying to move to a different management accounting position? If that's a yes, then the CMA is for you. For example, someone emailed me. I think his name was John. John emailed me. He said, Nathan, I work in accounts receivable. Is the CMA for me? Okay, well, great question. So I asked John, do you plan to stay in accounts receivable, or do you want to move up the ladder in the accounting department into accounting manager, senior accountant, controller, chief financial officer? If you want to stay in accounts receivable, then the CMA may not be a good fit, because I think it would be an overkill. All the information that you would learn from the CMA will not really help him as an accounts receivable clerk. But if he has the ambition to move up the ladder, then the CMA makes a lot of sense. So as a compliance officer, if you plan to stay in that field, I don't know how much more you already made it, in a sense. If you wanted to be a compliance officer, you are one now, so you've reached your goal, right? If you want to move up from that position into management accounting, then the CMA is your gateway into management accounting. So I would say yes, it's definitely for you. I like to think of it as the CMA being that credential that will help you reach your next goal in your career, your next objective. Okay, so it's a part of like a long-term strategy. How do I get there? Like if I'm here, I want to go to Japan, I need to get on a plane and fly to Japan to get there, right? If you're a compliance officer, if you want to end up as a controller, then that plane is your CMA designation. The CMA, you got to board it, you got to learn it, and then that will get you to become a controller down the road, because you will have the skills, you will have the knowledge to help you earn that position. So hope that answers your question. If not, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. You're new here. Thank you very much. Mano, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the call. Shalene, welcome, Shalene. I think you were here last week. I appreciate you tuning in again this week. Her question is this. I'll put it on the screen. If someone gets above 50%, sometimes the essay window does not open. Why? Great question. If you score 50% of the MCQs correct in the MCQ section, you will move forward to the essay section of the exam. Okay? If you don't get at least 50% of the MCQs correct, then the exam will end when you attempt to move forward to the essay section. There's no instance that a candidate gets 50% or more of the MCQs correct and does not move to the essay. It does not happen. If you have to get 50% or more, and you will move forward. So Shalene, I'm a little concerned that I don't know if that happened to you or not, but I wouldn't. How can I say this? It's a computerized exam, so it will calculate how many questions you got right, and you have to get at least 50%. So it's computerized. I don't see there could be an issue with it. So if you can tell me why you think, or how you know you got more than 50% of the MCQs correct, and why you didn't move forward to the essay. Like, what's the proof there? But to my understanding is, if you don't get at least 50%, then you don't move forward to the essays. But great question. Hey, Mano. Mano's asking, can I ask you about a particular topic for clarification? These live streams are not to dive into the subject matter. These are more for guidance and provide answers about the CMA exam in general, about the steps to become a CMA. For subject matter questions, normally I wouldn't use these live streams for that because everybody is in different stages of the CMA. Okay, so if you want to email me, you're more than welcome to, but probably I won't cover those specifically during this live streams, just because everybody's in different stages of the CMA. Some are not even studying yet, and if they are, they're studying a completely different topic, so I wouldn't want to spend too much time on one single topic when it comes to the subject matter of the CMA during these live streams. All right, Manoba, thank you, but please email me, and I'll gladly help you. Here we have a question. I just graduated, major in accounting. Hey, congratulations. Man, that's a big achievement, right? 4 years in college. Congrats. That's great. Considered the CMA versus the CPA down the road. I would like to own a business in the food and beverage industry. Would CMA be a better fit to have a better grasp over my hypothetical business versus CPA, or would either be strong? Great question. I think what I can say is that I'm not a CPA. I've taken some CPA courses, but I'm a CMA and I am a business owner. I've had a couple businesses already, and I can attest that the CMA knowledge has helped me in managing my own businesses. So if you want to, sounds like you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you want to start your own business. What you learn from the CMA will help you manage your business very well. So when it comes to the CPA, you're going to have to get your CPA. You will have to work in auditing. You'll have to do public accounting probably. So I don't know if you want to go in that route in order to reach your goal, because you want to start your own business, right? So going for the CPA, I'm not sure. You may want to, but if you want to go into taxation and auditing and all that, you can, but it's just a longer road for you. But if you're interested in that, then by all means go for it. But I think the shorter route is going through the CMA, because you don't have to do any of that taxation or auditing for a couple years. That is a requirement to earn your CPA. Okay, great question though. Great. Dabu is saying, I am preparing for the CMA examination already, or for the CMA examination already completed my tutorial section already. That's great. Congrats. So it sounds like you already finished your program and you're ready to take your exam. But the way Prometric centers are opening all over the world, so it's a good time to start looking into exam dates and start registering for your exam. Great question. Oh, hey, Paul. Thanks for tuning in. So it says, hey, Nate, I just passed the CPA exam. Congratulations. I know how difficult the CPA exam can be, so congrats to you. He says, I'll be starting my job at public accounting soon. I'm looking into the CMA. Will my knowledge from the CPA exam help the CMA exam? Absolutely. There's definitely overlap between the two. So what you've learned for the CPA, not all of it, obviously, because a lot of what you're tested for the CPA is not covered in the CMA exam. But like I said, there is overlap. So if you are on a roll and you want to go for another designation, then this would be a perfect time. Because you already have the habit of studying, right? The CPA is a 4-part exam, I believe. So it takes a lot of time to pass those exams. So if you are on a roll and you want to go for the CMA, go for it. And because there's overlap, I think you won't have to spend 8 months to study for both parts. You can probably cut that maybe by a third or maybe by half. So I think if you want to go for it, I don't see why not. And having the CPA and the CMA is a fantastic combo, in my opinion. And since you started with the CPA, probably you're going to work in auditing, in taxation and whatnot. So having the CMA will definitely add to it. I think that'll be a good move, Paul, for sure. Thank you for tuning in. You are welcome, Nick. My pleasure. My pleasure, sir. All right, here, let me have a sip of my coffee real quick. All right. Everybody doing good? We are already 30 minutes into today's call. Can you believe it? Time flies. Time just flies. But I'm happy to be here. This is my passion. I love helping accountants, finance people, all professionals. I love helping them earn their CMA. It's what I've been doing for the past 7 years. And I'll be doing this for a very long time, my friends. So thank you for spending this hour on a Friday with me. Yeah, so Abbas is saying, thanks. Yeah, hard work is the key to pass exam along with smart work. Your 16-week program along with the MCQ explanation was fantastic. Thank you so much for that feedback. I'm so happy to hear the Academy's 16-week program helped you out and all the MCQ explanations. Yeah, I mean, the Academy has a 90+% pass rate, and that's for students who complete the entire program and pass exam. Abbas is a great example. So like I said before, I'm super happy for you, and I'm very proud. Whenever my students pass exam, I feel like a proud dad for some reason. I'm not a dad, but I feel like one, I think, because they're like, oh man, I see their journey from the very beginning, and I see the struggle, because it's not an easy road, but I see the struggle at first, and I provide encouragement and whatnot, accountability throughout the program. And then by the end of the program, they finish, they're nervous about the exam, but they feel confident at the same time because they already met all the requirements in order to complete the program. So, but obviously nervousness is completely natural, right? Because the exam is something new, they've never done it before. And when they go and take the exam, and then later they email me and say, hey, Nathan, I passed the exam. I'm so happy for them. It's the most rewarding thing. The most rewarding thing. Abbas, I'm very happy for you, my friend. You totally deserve it. So many good questions. Noel here is asking, here, let me put it on the screen. Noel is asking, I plan to do a master's degree after my CMA completion. Which course should I opt, and can you tell about the specialization I need to choose? That's great. I'm curious, Noel, why would you go for this? Why are you planning to go to get a master's degree after your CMA? Tell me more about you. I want to know more because I can put it all together for you. Are you working full-time right now? Are you not working full-time? Why do you want to get a master's? Are you going to get a master's in accounting? a master's in business administration? What type of master's are you planning to get? And yeah, tell me more about you. I want to know more. Give me the whole context, and then I'll be able to answer your question more thoroughly. All right? Mano is asking if there are any exemptions from someone who takes the CMA and then goes for the CPA. Mano, that's a great question. I'm not sure actually 100%, but I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to make a note of it right here. And what I will do is I'll come back next week and I'll have an answer for you and for everybody else who's interested in taking the CPA or the CMA and already has either or. Okay? So I'll come back with that information for sure. Thank you for asking. Rajiv is asking, what if you are in finance but not a graduate? Are you eligible? So Rajiv, I'm guessing you're asking, like, you work in finance but you don't have a degree yet. Are you eligible? Yes, you can take the CMA exam before you have your work experience. You can take the CMA exam before you graduate from college. And goes back to the first question of today, which was, who can take the CMA exam? And one group that I said that could are college kids. College kids obviously don't have work experience yet in accounting. They don't have a degree yet. But my encouragement is that they should go and take their exam because they have 7 years after passing the exam to earn their work experience. Okay, so if you don't have a degree yet, but you're working in finance, and I'm assuming you plan to get your degree because to become officially certified, one of the requirements is that you have to have a bachelor's degree. It does not have to be in accounting or finance. It can be in any field, but you have to have a bachelor's degree. So Rajiv, if you plan to finish your bachelor's and you are already working in finance, then yeah, you qualify. All you have to do though is finish your bachelor's degree. That way you will be officially certified. Great question. And Rajiv, you are new to the live show, so welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for participating. Something on my nose was tickling me. Omar is asking, what study plan should I implement and how many hours should I study per day? Fantastic question, Omar. So as far as study plan, I mean, if you guys have been following me for years, you know that before the 2020 exam, I was recommending 12 weeks, but now before the 2020 exam. Now for the 2020 exam, because things have changed, content has been added to the exam, my recommendation is a minimum of 16 weeks to study for each part. How many hours should you study per day? I would say if you are going to self-study, Omar, start with 20 hours a week, okay? Start with 20 hours a week. That may seem like a lot, but maybe it might not be. But the thing is, I'd rather err on the side of overestimation than not. So start with 20 hours, and after like 2-3 weeks of your study program, determine if 20 hours is too much, like you don't need that many hours, or if it's just the right amount, or if it's too little. Okay, so start there. If you are taking an instructor-led course or a guided program like CMA Exam Academy, then you would need about between 12 and 15 hours a week to start. And then after 2-3 weeks into the program, my students will assess and determine if they need more or less. Many of my students study about 10 hours a week. Some study 15 hours a week. So it really depends. And this goes for everybody. It really depends on your background. Do you have an accounting degree? How much accounting knowledge do you already have? Do you work in accounting or finance? So it depends on that, right? If you're making a career change into accounting and you don't have an accounting background, so that means that you may have to study more hours to understand accounting concepts because you don't have the background. For those who have it, then maybe 20 hours is too much because they already have a really strong foundation. So they can study 15 or less. So it really depends. It's on a case-by-case basis. But as a way to start, if you plan to self-study, take 20 hours a week and then adjust after 2-3 weeks. If you go for an instructor-led program or a weekly guided program like CMA Exam Academy, then start between 12 and 15. Great question, Omar. Thank you for asking. Rahul is asking, is the CMA related to cost management? We have cost management topics on the CMA exam, so definitely there's a correlation between the two, absolutely. Gamerzi is asking, is there any chance that the CMA will merge into the CA in the coming days? The CMA designation, there are no plans to merge it with any other designation. The CMA is a standalone designation, recognized globally. It's like a global passport. You can move to any country, and the CMA is well known. So there, to my knowledge, there are no conversations or discussions about merging it with any other designation, not to my knowledge. Ahmad is asking this question, and I get this question a lot. My English is weak. Can I pass the CMA exam? If you have a language barrier, will definitely make it more difficult. So if you are struggling with the English language, my recommendation is to take English classes before you start studying for the CMA exam. The CMA exam is pretty difficult as it is, right? We know that the industry average pass rate is about, what, 40%? 35-40%. So that shows that it's a very tough exam, even for native English speakers. So if you add a language barrier on top of that, it's going to be even more difficult. So my best recommendation for you is to take a step back from the CMA for a little while. Go take a couple of English classes. You can take them online. There are so many English courses out there nowadays. So choose one or two and get better at it. And then once you've done that, then come back and start studying for the CMA exam. Because one, you will understand what you're reading. And if you don't understand what you're reading, then obviously it will be very difficult to pass the exam. So if you're struggling with English, take a step back, go and take a few classes, and then come back and study for the CMA. All right? And if you can take business English, I think that will be very, very helpful. Great question, Ahmed. Very good question. Paul Kim. I'm glad you appreciated the answer. That's great. So he says, Paul Kim is saying, awesome answer. I'm looking into which course to use. I know you run a course yourself, but can you go over objectively why your course versus Becker, Wiley, or Gleim? Paul used Becker for the CPA exam. Paul, I think that's a very fair question to ask, so let me go ahead and answer it. CMA Exam Academy is different than all the ones you listed in your question in the sense that we are not a self-study program. We are a guided weekly program. I'm not sure how Becker is, but I'm assuming that you got your textbooks, you got your test bank, and off you went and studied on your own. With the Academy, it's already laid out for you. It's like a plug and play type of program. You start week one, and you will have assignments. You will know what to do, how many pages to read, what topics to read, specific video lectures week by week from week 1 all the way to week 16. And you will have assignments in between to kind of test your knowledge, to make sure that you are learning the material. And the biggest aspect of why I think my students have a lot of success is the program that is broken down week by week. So there's no guessing game. But the biggest thing is accountability and coaching support. We are always on top of our students, making sure that they are completing their program, that they are turning in their assignments for every single student. And I think that's what makes a big difference. When a student feels like there's a coach, there's someone there guiding them, helping them out, it makes a big difference. And two, coaching support, we just focus on the CMA exam. That's it. All the other providers do CPA, CIA, CFA, so many. But for us, we just do CMA. Everybody who works, all the coaches in CMA Exam Academy are CMAs like myself. They studied in the academy before. They passed their exams on their first try. So now they are on staff to help future CMAs also pass the exam. So it's like a program built by CMAs for future CMAs. And like I said, the biggest thing is accountability, coaching, and the guided program that we have. At the end of the day, all providers, including my material, we all cover the same subject matter. We all do, right? So think of it in those terms that if you want a really good cupcake, think about it this way. If you love cupcakes or a donut or whatever, let's go with cupcakes. If you love a cupcake and you want to go get a cupcake, would you go to a cupcake shop or would you go to a bakery where they sell a ton of different baked goods? I would probably go to a cupcake shop, right? Because they specialize in cupcakes. So think of it in those terms, in that analogy. We just focus on the CMA and that's all we do day in and day out. Other providers do all kinds of other exams as well. I'm sure they're all great, but we just do one because we want to provide the best experience for our students. And our pass rates are really high, if anything else. Over 90% pass rate. I don't know what the pass rate is from other providers, but we have a 90% plus pass rate. All right, Paul, great question, but thank you very much for asking. I appreciate it. Fair question. We have here another question. Salary, the CMA salary in the USA. Great question. On average, it's a six-figure salary in the United States. There's a whole salary survey that the IMA produces every single year. As of last year, CMAs with a lot of experience were making six figures, between $100,000 and $130,000 per year. So, and they make 22% more than non-certified peers. Okay, so if you go to work, you look at all your peers. If you were to have the CMA, you would make 22% more than your peers who are not certified. And that's just not only in the States, that's global. Okay, that's the average. So so salary in the USA for CMAs is definitely a six-figure. Obviously, it depends on years of experience, depends on industry, it depends on company size and the type of company you're working for. If you work for a startup, salaries are going to be very different than if you were to work for a seasoned company, right? So there are a lot of factors that come into play, but CMAs on average earn more than non-certified peers. So the investment of time and money that you make into the CMA will pay off over time. Great question, everybody. This is awesome. Noel. Noel, thank you for telling me more about you. This really helps. So Noel is saying, I'm done with my bachelor's in commerce, currently pursuing the CMA without work experience yet. And that's totally fine. I mean, that's great. So I thought of doing a master's to boost my career before I start working in an organization. All right, Noel. Obviously, going for a master's is a very personal decision based on your objectives that you have for your career, right? If you plan to work in private accounting, I think even in public accounting, having a master's, I think it does not make that much of a difference at this point. You have your bachelor's degree, you're going for the CMA. I think with those two, you can start working, get in the workforce, get real world experience. And after 2-3 years, then think about your master's and decide if you still want it. If you still do, go for it. But at least at that point, you will be making a more educated decision. I know that there's a temptation of always trying to pile on more degrees, certifications to make you more competitive in the marketplace. To a degree, it helps a lot, but there's also diminishing returns, right? How much is that master's going to cost you? Will it be 50 grand? Some master's programs go to like 70 to 100 grand. So it can be very expensive. So why not save that? Put it in your back pocket as plan B. But if you have your bachelor's degree already, you are going for your CMA, then pass your exams and get in the workforce. Because at the end of the day, work experience matters, right? Even if you have a bachelor's degree, your CMA, and let's say you go for your master's right away and you hold off on working, okay, you have those three, but that does not mean you're going to get a high position from the get-go because employers are looking for your experience on top of your designations. And experience plays a big factor. So if you were to go to a job interview and you have your bachelor's degree, your master's, and the CMA, but you don't have work experience, you're applying for a staff accounting position, a senior accountant, or even a controller or accounting manager, most likely they will not accept you because you don't have experience at all in accounting. So if I were you, what I would do is, like I said, finish your CMA and get in the workforce, start working, get that real life experience. And then after a couple years, if you feel like you need a master's degree because of the company you work for, they highly value MBAs, or because it's just you want to get one, then go for it. But at least you will have some experience already under your belt. You will make a more educated decision. So that's what I would suggest you do. But like I said at the very beginning, getting an MBA is a very personal decision. I think that because of the cost benefit analysis, that you are better off after your CMA getting in the workforce and start getting real life experience. Great question, Noel, and thank you for sharing more about you. It's great to get to know you. Let's see. Oh, here, Noel has another question. So what is the best specialization as far as a master's degree I can go for, no matter what it is? So that's what I mean, Noel. I think you want to get a master's degree based on what I'm reading, without really knowing why you want to get it. And two, you don't know what type of master's degree you want to get. So I would say take a step back from that thought. Just go get real world experience after you get your CMA, and then see if you really need an MBA. I think an MBA is really helpful if you plan to work in the stock market or in banking. I think in those two sectors, an MBA is important to have, because I think banks and investment companies, they do want someone with an MBA. So it makes sense. But if you plan to work in the private industry, in public accounting, I think an MBA is an overkill. I don't think you need it. But again, it's a very personal decision. But those are just my 2 cents. All right. Here we have another question. Farhanath is asking, can you give the most important tips for getting for cracking the CMA exam? Well, there are so many tips. There are so many things that candidates need to do to pass the exam. Obviously, what I could say today, I'll give you one tip. One tip is to take practice exams. And this is the one thing that a lot of candidates don't do. A, because they don't realize that they need to do this. And two, they put it in the back burner. They read the textbooks, they study them very well, but they don't really use their online test bank. So they really don't practice. And they do that a couple weeks before their actual exam, and it's just not enough. So if you were to use your online test bank throughout your studies, I think you will gain a lot from it. Okay, so take practice exams, because you have to get used to taking an exam in a computerized format. You need to get used to answering essays on a computer. You need to practice your speed, and an online test bank will help you do that. So please use it throughout your study program, and I think that will definitely is one of many tips, but it's one that is really important that a lot of people miss. So I hope that was helpful, Farha. Asmina, hello. Welcome to today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Wow, so many questions, everybody. Let me have a sip of my coffee real quick. All right. Are you guys having a good time? Is this helpful? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how you feel. No hard feelings. I won't take it personal, but let me know. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Is there a deadline? Here's the question. Is there a deadline to complete the CMA? There's no deadline per se, but there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of, okay? So the IMA membership is paid annually, and you got to pay that from the start of your CMA journey and for as long as you want to keep your CMA designation active. It's just an annual membership, and that's what it is. Now, for the CMA exam, there's this thing called a CMA entrance fee. And the CMA entrance fee is paid when you're ready to tackle your first CMA exam, okay? So the CMA entrance fee is valid for 2 years. So I guess you could say that that's your deadline. Once you pay the entrance fee, you have 2 years to pass both exams. And let's say that you pass one exam in those 2 years. Once the time is up, that one exam part you passed, you will have to retake it. It's like a reset. You're gonna have to retake it again. So I guess that could be your deadline, right? So once you pay for the CMA entrance fee, you have 2 years to pass both parts, and that will be your deadline. And most people do pass it in 2 years, more than enough. Obviously, if you plan to self-study, that can be a struggle. If you go with a guided program, then you can finish it within a year or less, and then you'll be done. Then you won't ever have to pay for that CMA entrance fee again, and you won't be missing any deadlines. Great question. Thank you for asking. Abdul is asking, how are you? Abdul, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm having a good time with you guys, answering questions. And thank you for tuning in this Friday to a new episode of the CMA Show. Let's see, what else do we have? By the way, before I keep going, I want to remind you guys that for the rest of this month, and I have been for the month already, I'm giving away my CMA textbooks in paperback for free. I just ask that you help with shipping and handling, and that's it. But the textbooks are absolutely yours free. It's a $300 value, zero for you during this economic crisis. It's part 1 and part 2 together. The link to get your free textbooks are above or below this video. So after we finish the live show, if you want to get free textbooks, go ahead and place your order. We did this in the month of April. People loved it, loved the textbooks. They got them all over the world. No shipping restrictions. We had a bit of a delay shipping to the Philippines, but I think that that's already resolved. So we've been shipping to the Philippines also. So if you want to get your journey started, get free textbooks, study them, and go from there. It doesn't cost much. It's just shipping and handling, and that's it. You're saving quite a bit in textbooks. All right. Next question. Okay, so here's a question, and it's really important. Asmina is asking, I heard that section B in part 2 is not important. What is the real fact? And one more thing, that section is too difficult for me. Okay, so first of all, Asmina, I'm going to debunk that rumor. It's not true whatsoever. Every single section in your CMA exam is super important. There's no such thing as one being more important than the other. I want to stress that point to everybody. Please study every topic, every section to the best of your ability. Because if you start thinking that, maybe section F is not as important as section B or C, then I think that will work against you when you are taking your actual exam. So please focus on every topic. I mean, I know it's a lot of content, but believe me, it's possible. Thousands of CMAs pass the exam every year. So I passed it too. So if I could do it, I know anybody can. All right, but you got to focus, you got to study hard and be diligent. So there's no such thing as one part being more important than the other. Great question. How to study for this section? There's a study technique that I always preach about, and I'm going to keep preaching about it because it's so effective. It's called SQ3R. There's a video in my YouTube channel. Check it out after this live show is over. I'll walk you through step by step on how to use this technique to help you retain over 80% of what you study. It takes a little while to get used to the technique because it will be a new technique to study with, and it's like riding a bicycle. You gotta start slow. You're gonna fall off. You gotta keep trying until you get it, and then it'll get easier and easier for you. And the best part is that it's proven that people who use this study technique retain over 80% of what they study. Over 80%, that's huge. So my recommendation is that after this live stream, go check it out. I think it will definitely help you with section B of part 2, and with every section for that matter. Okay, this is great, everybody. So Rahul has a question. So Rahul graduated 4 years ago, and he's working in accounts receivable. So his question is, if I start preparing for the CMA, how do I start? And should I start with the basics? Great question, Raul. To get started, there is a 10-step roadmap that I have on my website. It's how to become a CMA. You can also check it out on my YouTube channel. Look at for like 10 steps to become a CMA, and I break it all out. Step 1 through step 10. So check that out after this live show for a detailed explanation as to how to become a CMA and where to start, okay? Yeah, we have 5 minutes left, so I won't have time to go into it, but please go check that video, how to become a CMA, in my YouTube channel, and it'll walk you through every single step. Great question. It's not as hard as you think, but there are a couple of things you got to take care of in order, okay? Great. Everybody, this is great. Rafai, good evening. Brother Nathan, I'm back. Great. Glad to have you back, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, this is great. Mano is saying, Nathan, thank you for the support and for the textbook. The book is totally awesome and easy to understand. That is great to hear, Mano. And for those of you who don't know, my textbooks were written by CMAs and CPAs and myself, and we've written it in a way that we wanted to make it very straightforward, no jargon, no fluff. Our textbooks are straight to the point. They cover every single topic you'll be tested on the exam, and Mano is proof that they're easy to understand, and that was the goal, and I'm super happy that they are that way. So thank you, Mano, for your feedback. I appreciate it. Paul is asking, hey, Nate, you mentioned 16 weeks. Is that timeline for both exams or for one exam? Since I recently passed the CPA, I'm hoping to cut that timeline by half or 1/3. Paul, yeah, so it's 16 weeks per part, just because there's a lot of material. But like I was saying earlier, since you already passed the CPA, there is overlap in many of the subjects. So I believe you could move on a lot faster than that. And yeah, you cut it by 1/3 or even by half. Just because you know a lot of the material already, and you are on a good, you have a good study habit, because obviously you had to develop that to pass the CPA. So you could definitely shorten that by, I don't know, 4 weeks maybe, or more. Yeah, really, it's up to you. I mean, the program for the Academy program is 16 weeks, but it's flexible because I have students who are studying full time right now, so they're going at a much faster pace. Some are finishing within 8 weeks. I have students who need a little more time than 16 weeks because they have a lot of obligations, they have a lot of things to do. So we can accommodate timelines for specific people. The sweet spot is 16 weeks, and that's what's worked for most candidates, for most of my students. But like I said, it's flexible in the sense that we can make it shorter or longer based on what the student needs. Great question, Paul. Thank you for asking. Cozine is asking, I plan to start studying for the CMA in August. Do you think this is a good idea? If so, how do you suggest I proceed? Yeah, you can start in August. That way you'll be ready to take your first exam in January, February of 2021. When it comes to the last part of the year, always take into consideration the holidays. The holidays is something that really derails a lot of people, naturally, because you have a lot of family obligations, work obligations, and there's just a lot going on during the holidays, right? So I would take that into account when you plan for your study schedule, just because it will take you away from your study program, which is okay. But as long as you plan ahead of time, then no harm, no foul, right? So yeah, Cozine, you can definitely start studying for the CMA in August. Like I said before to a different viewer, to get started, I have a video on how to become a CMA. Go to my YouTube channel after this live stream and search for how to become a CMA. Watch it. I will go step by step. But if you guys have any questions about how to become a CMA, please message me. You can email me directly, nathan@cmacoach.com. Again, that's nathan@cmacoach.com. Just email me with all your questions, and I'll gladly guide you guys every single step of the way. Okay? I mean, that's what I do for my students. That's what I've done for so many candidates all over the world, for thousands. So I'd be more than happy to do the same for you. Great question, Cozine. All right. Here's another question. What's the difference between a local CMA degree with CMA Australia, CMA degree? So there are various CMA designations around the world. There's a CMA India, CMA Australia. There's other CMAs as well. The difference is that those are geared for that specific country only. Okay, so if you get the CMA India, it's only for India. If you take that to another country, won't carry as much value than it would just in India. That's the difference between all the other CMA designations and the US CMA. The US CMA is the only one that's recognized globally. That's why it's considered a global passport. If you plan to take your CMA exam, might as well choose a designation that will transfer to all over the world. No matter which country you go to, no matter where you apply for a job, that the US CMA is the one that carries the weight in gold. And that's the one that will help you achieve, if you want to move out of the country, that will help you achieve that, just because it's recognized globally. Great question, though, because I know there's a lot of confusion between several CMA designations. Mukul is asking important topics for essay section part 2. All topics, my friend. That's not the answer you want to hear, but in the essay section, we don't know what you're going to be asked, and it's impossible to try to guess what you're going to get asked or what topics will be in your essay. And I think it's not worth spending the time or the effort trying to guess or try to find it. It just won't happen. You could be tested in the essays from section A all the way to section F. Who knows? So the best advice I can give you is study every topic to the best of your ability, and you will do fine in the MCQs and in the essay section as well. Great question. Thank you for asking. Mustafa is asking, hi Nathan, I'm in Sudan. How do you ship the book to Sudan? Yeah, we've shipped books to all over the place, including Sudan. We just are carriers. It takes a little while because of the pandemic, so it takes longer than usual, but textbooks are arriving just fine everywhere. Like I said, we had a bit of a delay to the Philippines in April, but that's been resolved and we're shipping again, and everybody's getting their textbooks. We're shipping to Africa, Middle East, Asia, Europe, Caribbean, South America, Central America, North America. We're shipping everywhere, guys. So if you want to get those free textbooks, I recommend that you get your hands on it, because the promotion ends at the end of May or until supplies last. So if you want to get free textbooks, go for it. The links are above or below this video. Asmina, like I just said, the link is above or below this video, this live show. So after we're done, click on that link and you can just place your order. Like I said, just cover shipping and handling charges, and the $300 textbook set will be completely free for a limited time. Thank you for asking. Kozen is asking, does the CMA exam change every year? For example, in 2021. Also, how often does your academy update for members? Kozen, great question. I hope I'm saying your name right, by the way. I do like your name. It's very unique. I've never seen it before, but I like it. Kozen. I like it. Has a nice ring to it. The CMA exam does not change every year. It changes, I think, every 3 to 4 years is when it changes. So the last time it changed was in 2016 or 2017. There were some changes to the exam. The biggest change has been for the 2020 exam, and I don't foresee the CMA exam changing again until maybe 2023, 2024. So if you are planning to take the exam in 2021, your 2020 edition study tools are more than enough. And then your second question was, how often does your academy update for members? So whenever we roll out an update to our video lectures, our test bank, our formula guides, we roll them out for free to all our students, because that's the latest and greatest. And we want to make sure that our students have the most up-to-date information to help them pass the exam. Because as you guys know, in my academy, we have a guarantee that if you finish the program and you don't pass the exam, you can request all your money back, and I'll give it back to you, because I don't deserve to keep your money because I didn't help you pass your exam. So because of that, I'm so confident in my program, and that's why I can offer that guarantee, because I know that the majority, we have a 90+% pass rate. So, and that's for students to complete the program and take their exam for the first time. And because of that reason, it's in my interest to make sure that all my students have the most up-to-date subjects and the most up-to-date study material. So whenever we have new material that we're developing, which we are on a regular basis, we just roll it out to everybody just to make sure that they have the latest and greatest to help them pass the exam. All right, guys, so we are here already a little bit over an hour. We have so many more questions. So, Mukul, you're welcome. Mukul saying, thanks for answering my question. You're awesome. Mukul, is my pleasure. My pleasure, my friend. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to a new episode of the CMA show. I'm super happy that we got to spend an hour today, an hour on a Friday. And after the show, there are links above or below this video. You can get a free CMA exam cheat sheet that will help you pass the exam. You can also order free textbooks in paperback through the end of May or until supplies last. That's up to whichever comes first. And if you're interested in studying in the academy, there's a link also if you're interested in checking that out. You're more than welcome to. But otherwise, I will see you here next Friday, same time on YouTube, 12 p.m. Pacific. And for those of you on the podcast, you're listening to a recording of this. So if you want to participate during a live show, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Find me at CMA Coach, and then you'll be notified when the live show on Friday goes live. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one, and I will see you next time. Bye.